Take your shoes off at the door, yeah, we getting real. Talking all the things they say you shouldn't feel. From locker room truths to capitalize. That you secret to the questions schools disguise. Shoes off, lean in, take a breath, take a seat. Where the truth walks free and the raw minds meet. No filters, no front, just the heart of the talk. Welcome to the space where the brave ones walk. Religion and redemption, business and the hustle. Life hits hard, we unpack the struggle. Mental health, money, trauma, and dreams. Peeling back layers till the silence screams. Politics in the air, sports in the veins. Educated minds, talking love and pain. No cap, no script, just truth with spark. It's a shoes off talk, where we leave that mark. Shoes off, lean in.
All right. Welcome to Shoes Off Talk. We are here at the wonderful Unknown Union Studios. We have the wonderful Christy in the building.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes.
Got the man Floyd in the back.
What's going on?
Welcome, everybody. What are we talking today about, Floyd?
We got Larvell here
Larvell.
today.
You know, it's been a long time.
Larvell, it's a pleasure to see you,
The
Larvell.
prodigal son returns.
We've missed you. We've missed you.
You know, thank you. Missed all y'all, too. It's been a rough road, but I'm here now.
All right.
Speaking about generational curses, is that what we're talking about today?
That's what we're talking about.
Generational curses. Well, I have a lot of that going on. You know, so it's been a lot to deal with. But how do we deal with generational curses? That's what we're gonna find out today. Obviously, I'm still going through it, so I can't really be 100%, tell you about it. But we're gonna find out today. We're gonna learn.
You know, everybody have their own ways. You know, every generation is different. You know, I know, like, people seem like with generations, it goes to ancestry, what it starts when it goes all the way back then, right? And then it trickles down. But at the same time, let's just say your ancestry did a certain way, but then, which was the good way, and then from that point, from your grandmother on down, that's where the curses start to follow.
So are we talking about real curses like witchcraft?
No, nothing like that. I mean, unless it's a generational curse.
It could be some of that going on.
Right.
It could be.
So, yeah, I mean, it can, whatever it is, but, I mean, you're still going to the point that it's something going on there.
Right.
You know, but how can we, like, who's in charge of stopping it? Who's in charge of making sure that it's not going to trickle down to generations ahead of us? You know? So who's responsible? Is it your mama? Is it your grandmother? Is it your great-great-grandmother?
Is it you?
You know?
End of the day, it's that person. It is you, like you said. Yeah. And sometimes you or whoever that person is, it's hard for them to do it because of those generational curses. Because it's something that they've been used to, they grew up with, they've seen other family members with. So what is that? A product of your environment. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Being a product of your environment sometimes can have a lasting negative effect. Speaking of that's something I had looked up actually. Negative patterns, behaviors, or misfortunes that are passed down throughout generations. Mm-hmm. It's inherited trauma and damaging cycles. Something I just looked up real quick. And that's really what it is. So going back to what Floyd said, how do we stop it? What are things we can do to help stop these generational curses?
What do you think, Christy?
Oh, going to come to me now. Well, you can look at generational curses in different ways. Most people see it as, like Larvell was saying, the habits that we see our parents and our grandparents. Say you see your parents in an unhealthy marriage, then you become in an unhealthy marriage because that's all you've ever known. That's all you've ever seen. We repeat those patterns. We repeat those behaviors. But what about if you go further and think of it, it's in your DNA. It's almost like a computer that has all this memory and data. And when you die, they wipe it clean, give it to your kids, grandkids. that memory might not be there, but the frequency is still there. That energy, the memory is deep in there, even though you might not remember it. It's kind of an interesting analogy, but that's how I see it.
She's been reading my book.
When we see,
It's in your DNA, and a perfect example of this is when I do work with people and do yoga with them. We'll be in a posture, and all of a sudden a memory will come up, or you'll just start crying and you don't know why. Well, that's because those memories have been stored in those ligaments, in your bones, in your DNA. Deep down, you don't remember, but all of a sudden it's being released. You're letting it out, you're letting it go, and all of a sudden this rush of emotion comes over you, and you don't know what to do with it. A lot of times people try to stop it because they don't like it, instead of just letting it flow, letting it out. It's so powerful. And you also think it can't just be a product of our environment. If you take into consideration, there's people who are adopted and were raised by parents who don't drink, and all of a sudden they're alcoholics. They find their real parents, and they find that alcoholism runs in the family. This is deeper than you know, deeper than you realize, deeper than you can remember. So there's so many different ways when you start to unpack this trauma. I feel like it's hard for me because I feel like this is trending, right? It's like unpack your trauma, and all of this is trending. It's like there's these keywords that people use: trigger warning, and that's the child in me talking. And they're using it as an excuse rather than healing. Now, talking can be very healing, but it has to come from a place of healing. If you're just projecting, then you're continuing the cycle of that trauma. So we need to use these traumas in our life as a platform to both heal ourselves and heal others and do things differently. Use it as a platform to do things differently, not an excuse to continue this cycle. Because when you go so far the other way, you've got like both sides, right? And when you're being abused and then you go the complete opposite way, that can have just as damaging effect. You have to heal first. Find out, what am I going to do differently? I'm not going to raise my children this way because I saw the damage that it did with me. I'm going to try a relationship differently than my parents did. I'm going to consciously aware of the choices that I make and the decisions that I make and choose something differently. So when we just go on social media and we're blasting, we have tons of this. We've got the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter. We have all of this that's addressing the issues, but it's not coming from a place of healing. It's coming from projection. So that cycle will just continue. It will just continue. So in my opinion, taking these moments where you're triggered, you notice you're triggered, you see that, instead of saying, oh, well, I was triggered and that's my excuse for acting that way, or, say, okay, I'm triggered. What am I going to do? How am I going to sit in these emotions, allow myself to feel, process these emotions, do maybe some yoga techniques, breathing techniques, allow myself to feel what I'm feeling, and then see the outcome of that. Now, how do I feel about that? Now, how do I want to do things differently, talk to people differently, the choices that I make? When you use an excuse, oh, that's my inner child talking. Well, that's an excuse. If you say, my inner child reacted, and I'm sorry that you are at the receiving end of it, that is reflection and change. So it's little things like awareness. Awareness is like the first step. Finding those triggers, I'm triggered from that. Instead of reacting, I'm going to sit with this. Maybe I'll journal. Maybe I'll do some breath work.
Some form of therapy. Therapy.
You can go to therapy. Therapy's, great as well. There's breath work. Crying, I'm telling you, crying is such a release. When you feel those emotions, just let them come out, even if you don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
How I see it is let yourself cry for your ancestors who couldn't. Think about your grandparents. When was the last time you saw your parents cry? When was the last time you
Very
saw your
true.
grandparents cry? When was the last time you saw elders cry? I grew up never seeing my parents or grandparents cry. It was taboo to cry. That was like, you're weak.
You know, and then
I
they
even
say
grew up-
men are not supposed to cry. You're
Men
not
are supposed to cry, but we grew up with the sayings like cowboy up and, you're not supposed to cry. Why? Why can't you let those emotions out? It releases. If you hold it bottled up, it's going to settle in your body somewhere and you're going to become ill. You're going to become sick. It is not healthy to keep those emotions bottled up, but yet we've been taught that you're weak. If you cry, you're weak. I grew up most of my life that way. I would not cry in front of people. You would get comments from your parents like, you're weak. Why
toughen up.
would you cry?
Suck it
So
up.
that's how they were raised. They had to keep this in. They try to keep peace. They didn't speak up. They didn't cry. And so when you feel those emotions and they arise within you and you start crying, let it flow. Let it flow. Think like, I'm crying for my ancestors right now. I'm releasing that trauma that they weren't able to through these tears. It's actually a beautiful thing that I embraced in my adult years. And if my children cry, I let them. I'm like, do
Nice.
it. Let that out. Let it out. So that's a piece of advice I have.
You know, I'm gonna get real vulnerable right here because you
Yes.
mentioned because you always talking about just let it go, just let it
Let it
go.
go.
So
Let it out.
you know, you start talking about triggering certain things. Like you could be talking about something, watch something. It took a while to notice, but I noticed that every time, maybe because of my issues, mommy issues. Every time I watch something on TV and there's like a moment where a mother is mothering her child or something emotional where the mother has to come to the rescue or had to protect her child, I always cry every time. And I never at first I didn't notice it, but then I started noticing. I think someone else told me. They was like, you cry every time something like a mother does something on one of these shows or whatever. And then I started noticing it. Then that person was right. That every time I would watch something, like if Bambi's mom was die or something like that, I'm sitting here, I'm going in tears. So, when you were saying just sometimes you just got to cry, you got to cry. And then I actually do feel better.
You
So
do.
I do. So I just wanted to say that because you were right about that one. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just got to cry and let it go.
Yeah.
Wash it away sometimes.
I have a daughter that's even when she gets upset, she'll just start crying and she doesn't want to cry in front of people. I'm like, that's okay. Go to your room, cry it out. And she always comes out of her room just a new person, like lighter. You can feel how much lighter she is. She comes out and she's just hugging and just full of love. And you can see the difference. Like you might not feel it within yourself. I definitely feel it. Every time I cry afterwards, I feel like a whole new person. But you can also see it in other people. When they have the space to be themselves, be vulnerable, let out those emotions, they come back different. The conversations are different than when they try to hold it in and then try to have a conversation with you with that like pent up energy within them. The conversations are way different. I think
You
that's
gotta talk to
beautiful.
people.
I think that's beautiful that you allow yourself to do that now. Have you ever unpacked why that arises within you whenever you see a mother being a mother?
Well, now that I'm older, yeah, I get it now. It's because I've realized, and I had to really think about this, where it was like, man, how many times did my mother actually hug me? How many times did my mother actually say she was proud of me? I cannot remember any time those happen. So those are the things I watch on TV. Even if a mother says, I'm proud of you, I'm sitting there bawling, So that's really what it stems from, not having, I guess, that aspect of the emotional side, because people tend to tell me also that, oh, you're an emotionalist creature. You're an emotionalist creature. You don't show emotion. Well, I guess I wasn't shown it.
And
You
that's
have
how
to be
I
able to
was.
shown it.
That's how I was most of my life. I was known, believe it or not, as the ice woman because I didn't show emotion.
show
I would
emotion.
not give anyone the pleasure of seeing how they made me feel.
Right.
So I
Exactly.
would not
Yeah.
show emotion. I was known as ice woman.
Ice cold, just
Yeah,
heartless.
yeah. And I thought that's so crazy because
But you know, there's
I don't
other
feel that way.
there's other types of trauma too that people don't realize is trauma, and some are addictions. Addictions could be one of them. You know, alcoholism, that could be generational curses as well. Drugs,
Yeah.
those could be generational curses. It's not so much just like emotional, like where we talk about emotional, but also, like I said, addictions and drugs. Because you could have someone where their parents were into drugs heavy, and that's all they saw growing up. Guess what? Now you're a drug addict or alcohol. You know.
Or
So
like
that's
we
another
talked about is in the DNA because there's like people that are adopted and they they'll have addictions.
and don't know.
They're adopted people.
Yeah.
The parents don't have any addictions, so they don't know where it comes from until they meet their parents and find out that it is in the family. It runs in the family. So there's these addictive personalities, and how do we break those if we don't even know where they're coming from?
That is a good one right there.
So
How do
what
you
is
know?
it? What is it that you're trying to mask? What is it that you're trying to not see by taking substances instead? Because I feel like there's such a deep, dark, seated history within our ancestry that starts the cycle of taking substances, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, to numb yourself so that you don't feel it or see it. Because it's too traumatic, you don't want to even see or acknowledge that trauma. But real healing comes from seeing and acknowledging that trauma and accepting it and crying it out. So even the alcoholism, the drugs can come from crying. Crying can release that. And then acknowledging, I'm going to stop this pattern because I'm going to heal this trauma. Even though I might not know what it is, I'm going to go inward. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to use breath work. I'm going to cry. And I'm going to choose to be present in these feelings instead of taking drugs, instead of drinking alcohol. I'm going to sit here and feel these emotions. I'm going to do what my ancestors couldn't because they couldn't feel the pain. They were taught to be strong. You can't cry, you can't feel, you can't talk about it. And I'm going to do the opposite.
Right.
I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to see. I'm going to allow myself to feel. And as hard as that is, and it would be a lot easier to pick up those drugs or pick up that bottle of whatever is your preferred drink and numb those feelings so you don't have to feel it.
Starting new traditions.
Start a new tradition.
So, and that right there opens this question here. Is it fair to expect one person to carry the role of curse breaking for the entire family?
Is it, say again?
Is it fair to expect one person to carry the role to break the curse for their entire family?
Wow, that's a good one, but it's not fair. That much I could tell you. But at some point, it has to be done, and someone has to be the bearer of that weight.
And
And
I feel like different. Is it expected? I see it as an honor.
Okay.
I get to. I don't have to hold this burden. I can continue this behavior and pass it on to my kids and have them deal with it. But I have the honor. I have
like
the
that.
ability. I have the
that.
knowledge. I know I can change it. Why wouldn't I? Why would I want my children and grandchildren after that? Why would I want them to deal with these traumas? Why can't I stop it for them? I see it as an honor.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
I was blown away by that one. I honor
know,
that.
right?
You know,
It's
I
an
like
honor.
that one.
It's an honor.
No,
to
that's
be
true,
He's like,
though.
I'll take this on.
Right?
I'll take it on. I'll take it on. And I think about that. My parents all the time who had to be so strong. And I love the what you said about mother trauma, because I think of my parents and grandparents and how they felt they had to be so strong. They couldn't show emotion. They couldn't let us know what they were feeling. They couldn't show those emotions, or that they were struggling or hurting. They couldn't show the love. They didn't think they could, at least. And this ties into the conversation we had last week about love, and how Tim had said, you can't just throw love, the word, out there. You got to hold it tight. That comes from our parents. That comes from our grandparents. Don't say that word unless you mean it.
Yeah,
Don't,
right.
that comes. When in actuality, I choose to throw that word around. I want you to know that I love you. If anything, I want you to know that I love you. If anything happened in my car and I were never to see you again, you felt love for me, and you
Right.
know that I love you. I will throw that word around. That is something different that my parents couldn't give me.
And then that goes back to the point of the different types of levels of love. Because everybody has their own different types of love, but that's when we love someone, there's a different level of that.
Right.
But do you want that love from that person too?
But you know what? That doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
It's
it
what's
doesn't.
true to you, being honest about your feelings and honoring those feelings by letting the people around you know how you feel. If they want it, they don't have to accept it. They don't have to accept it, but at least they knew that you did love them.
Right. They can't say that you didn't say it to them.
They can't say that you
can't
didn't
say
say
it.
it. They
I
can't
love
say
you, Floyd.
I love you too, man.
I love you both. I love you
Oh,
both.
yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
But that really is speaking your truth at all times. Speaking your truth and learning what works for you. Have you gone to therapy, and did those techniques that the therapist give you, did they work? Did you try yoga and did you feel better afterwards? Did you try that breath technique and feel better afterwards? Listen to your body. Try different things, because what works for me may not work for you.
Right.
What works for Larvell might not work for me.
Hypnosis.
It's
Some people agree with
yeah.
it. Some people don't.
Hypnosis. And a lot of people, with hypnosis, you can get into that hardware, that hardware that you might not remember. And when it's brought up, and that memory, you have that memory, is that good or is that bad? Some people think it's a release, and,
Yeah.
and now they have that. Some people get that memory, and they're like, no, I don't want it. I don't want that memory. I don't want to
Some
remember
people
it.
just pack things away and not really realizing that's what's damaging them,
Right.
because we call it hide. It's a word for it, but they hide it away, they pack it away, don't remember it. Something could be so traumatizing that you just don't remember
Yeah.
what happened, and then like you were talking about earlier, it could be a trigger, and all of a sudden,
But
there
the
it is.
people on the receiving end don't deserve our trauma. That's why it's worth healing. That's why it's worth working through, because when we lash out from that trauma, we're causing more trauma
Right.
to others, the people around us. So if we notice it's a trigger and we can heal that, we can sit with it, we can work through it, then we can come into the conversation, and it will be a totally different conversation.
Okay. So what is Larvell, what is harder? What is harder to break? Financial curses, emotional curses, or spiritual curses?
Good one.
Probably spiritual, because that's some deep stuff right there. That's like that, back to that DNA, spiritual DNA, that is embedded in you so hard, so deep. Like DNA, people don't realize that that's a real thing with DNA, like something that may have happened to 5 generations ago, maybe 6, you know nothing about.
Right.
That now, that's because it's in your DNA, is coming out. So I think that would probably be the hardest, because financial can almost be taken care of somehow. I understand it's not easy, but just like addictions, that could kind of be taken care of. Not really, but sometimes it can. But DNA, the spiritual DNA, I think that would probably be the hardest. That's some deep stuff from a long time ago that still affects us. Like just talk about black people. Like they say that we're affected by DNA because of slavery, and that's why sometimes we act the way we do because slavery. But that was 400 years ago. But we still act a certain way today because of that, because it's in our DNA.
So that same question to you, Floyd. What do you think is harder?
For me, I think the emotions. I think because
Emotions make you cry sometimes.
there you go. Yeah, I think emotions because when we get to a point that our emotions starts to build and it gets stronger and stronger, and it's like, okay, now we get too emotional for our own good. It's like how you be like, oh, you and your feelings, you know. But the thing is, like, when it comes down to like, if my mama was an emotional person and everything, and then that put it on me, and so now I'm an emotional person, and then I put it on my kids. Now they're emotional people. So it's like, yeah, no, I don't know. But it's I would think in emotions.
Or you can look at emotions as a superpower. You can flip the way that you perceive that. That I can process this because I have the emotions to do so.
Okay.
Whereas others might not be able to, so they call me emotional in my feelings. At least I can feel. At least I can feel this spectrum of different feelings. That's a beautiful thing. There's some people that go their entire life having one feeling and they don't have that spectrum. That is a superpower. You can have all these feelings and then sit there and dissect them. Where's this coming from? And analyze your own feelings and then bring solutions out of those feelings. So having emotions can be a superpower. You can look at it differently. My perspective on what the hardest is I think all of them are the same. The first step is recognition. Once you recognize what the problem is, then you can work towards breaking that generational curse, breaking that cycle. But it's like an alcoholic first has to recognize the problem.
Right.
What is the problem? That's the hardest part because we go through life thinking, this is just the way I am. When you recognize the problem where it's coming from, that's when you can begin to heal.
Then take accountability for that.
And then take accountability. Exactly.
Yeah, once we start taking accountability, I guess that goes back to how Floyd was saying, how do we take care of, or if it's on someone, it's accountability. You're talking about honor, it's accountability too. That's what it is. Because you're going to become accountable for how the next generation goes, or you're going to be accountable if it continues.
Right.
So accountability, that's a good one.
Accountability, I like that. So you can recognize, take accountability, transform that energy into something more positive.
At some point, you got to be like, man, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Like, we can't keep doing this.
I do not want this cycle to continue. Let's break this.
So how do you do that? Throughout your family, can you say what curse have you already broken? Is there something that you've already broken?
I feel like the love curse. I feel like within my family, the love, how people view relationships, I feel like I've broken that. I can tell which ancestral trauma that has not been, because I can't pinpoint where it's come from, but I know it's there with it. So, for example, sexual abuse and trauma. I know it's within my family for generations, and I've known that since a child because I always had pains in this area of my body. My female reproductive, obviously I can have children, but within my female reproductive system, I always had that monthly cycle was always very hard for me, very painful. It settles in that area. And I know that my mother, my grandmother, those women did not talk about that. Did not talk about it. But then in my own feelings within my body, and then with my own children, I can see where that trauma, but how do you stop that? Talk. I talk so much with my children. I feel like I'm trying to break that. Have I? I'm not sure. I guess we'll see with the next generation. But I try to be open with my children about that and talk about it, so it's not such a taboo thing to talk about. Like, this is something that needs to be spoken up. If you ever feel uncomfortable, you need to say something. This is something that needs to be spoken about. And it in my view, it's that the whole Me Too movement is, oh, get back and, prosecute, and it's like that lash out. That's not how I see healing. I see that as projecting our trauma and causing more trauma, because now all those stories, you're triggering people and causing more trauma within the community, rather than sitting with it. Not saying to be silent, but sit with it and speak from a place of healing, so that it doesn't continue, so that you can see the warning signs or maybe habits that you may have. It's really interesting. This might be going off subject a little bit, but with predators, they did a study in prison with a bunch of predators, and they showed them videos of women, just women walking like out of a store, and said, which one would you target? Who would you grab? And every single one said the same women of all different races, all different people, ages. They all picked the same ones. And then when they asked them why, it's the way that they walked, it's the way that they talked or looked down, or they could see the vulnerability in the women. So with this generational trauma, is it that vulnerability of that pain that we carry generation after generation that we are walking away with or walking around with, and people can see it within us? So now if you know that, you can talk to your children, your daughters, walk with your head up high, your shoulders, back. Show confidence, even when you might not be feeling that confident, because predators will prey on that behavior. So you can try and stop it that way. Again, I'm working on that, so it hasn't worked. I don't know.
We're all trying to work on it.
We're all working on it. This is all, these are all tests that we're doing on ourselves to see if we can break the cycle. Is it possible?
Well, for me, I felt like I broke the cycle. I mean, it might not be a big deal for others, but for me it was. As my father, his father was a Rolling Stone. And when
I plead the fifth.
And what I mean is, like, they had children after children after children after children after children. It's like when you talking about multiply the earth.
Yeah,
How many siblings do you have, Floyd?
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot of them. Ellis is
man. But so I said when I found out that my father had all these kids because his father had all those kids, and I was like, yeah, nah. I was like, well, for one, I don't have no money for all these kids. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, heck no. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, no, I wouldn't even do that.
I got two, and I got two too many.
Too many.
I can't do it.
Right.
But see, they're also the reason you want to break the generational curses, right? Because you don't want to pass it on to them. You want to create change. And so,
like my great-grandparents, they had like 16 kids, and it's like, no, I'm not.
Damn.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely
that
not.
is a lot.
Especially like you're talking about these time and days, like everything's high, everything's expensive. Kids are expensive.
They are.
Like, I am glad that I am done. I am done. My youngest is now in college. I am done. They'd be like, what if you date someone that, has kids or want more kids? I don't mind dating someone that has kids. That's okay. They better not want to have more kids. Shoot.
Well, they'd be like, well, you know, we don't have a kid together,
Yeah.
so we got to have a kid together.
No. So you know what? One of like we're talking about the. Do you feel if you got rid of your generational curses? I'm not sure if we got rid of ours, but what I can say is, our families, whether like on my side, my ex-wife's side, basically like 90% of my family is all Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay.
All Jehovah's Witnesses, and none of the children became Jehovah's Witnesses. Like none of us
Interesting.
continued that because we saw how it was affecting how they were as parents, what they did and did not do, those type of traumas. Like I didn't want to continue that, and so everybody that I'm really, at least my cousins, all the people in my age group, none of us became witnesses. Like we did. That's one thing we did not continue. So I'm hoping that continues with mine and keeps on going because, that Jehovah's Witness cult life is like, oh
He
man.
said cult life.
Hey, it is what it is. It's hard sometimes because you don't realize the trauma that you're going through because you're conditioned. So I was
Right.
conditioned a certain way since a childhood to think a certain way. Like you guys would have been considered worldly. It's like to me like saying the N-word. Like, oh, that's a worldly person over there. Don't associate with that person because they're worldly. Or you can't. I can't celebrate my birthday. I can't celebrate, Christmas or anything.
Right.
So when these events come around, it's like, especially when we were in school, we had to
An
go to another
outcast.
classroom. I had to go sit outside, and I got to listen to everybody having fun in the classroom. That's
Right.
traumatizing. That's traumatizing.
Aw.
So yeah, we didn't continue that.
Aw.
She said, "Oh, poor baby."
I'm just
I
thinking
am-
of not being able to celebrate with the
I am
kids at
45
school.
years old. To this day, I have technically never celebrated my birthday. Like,
Wow.
yeah, maybe someone may have taken me out to dinner or something, or they may have came over to the house. We had a few drinks, but I've never had the quote unquote birthday ever.
So we got to throw you a birthday party.
Yeah,
Okay.
never had
Well,
one.
needs a birthday party.
But my kids celebrated every single one of their birthdays. Always had birthday cake, birthday parties, birthday gifts, something. I always made sure we did something for their birthdays. I've never had one.
Wow. So you did that differently with your kids.
I sure did.
When's
your
Break them
birthday, Larva?
generational curses.
You broke the curse.
When's your birthday?
My birthday, June 18th. It
Okay,
just
June,
passed.
June 18th. We need to do a birthday party for Larvell.
Yeah. That's definitely
Yes,
what
I
we
need a
want.
big one. So like this year, me and my sister decided it was like a multi-event, but when we went on that cruise, that was like our birthday gift to ourselves for your 45th birthday. But we also
Nice.
rolled in. It was my son's graduation gift, and it was my sister's promotion at her job. So we rolled all that into one. But yeah. So that was nice. I had fun. First time out the country too. So.
Nice.
It's lovely, right?
Oh man, I got my passport now. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm passport ready now.
I was telling some people at work, I was like, well, I said, once you get that first breakthrough, then you're going to continue to go. I said, once you get that first pop cherry, you want to keep doing it.
Oh yeah. Because now I want to try to go to Brazil in May. So
nice.
I gotta get
Yeah,
out the
man.
country now.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yes,
Okay, so now
There
you've
it
got
is.
like the travel itch.
I got it now.
You got
'Cause,
it.
man, this like it's so, and that's another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to like before my son left the the nest. I at least wanted to be able to show him the world before he got to see it himself. So that was like an honor for me. Like I got to show him outside of the United States now. Never been able to do that. So now that I'm able to do it, it's like, yeah, you said, and I got the itch now. It's like, now where else can I go?
Nice.
So you're making histories. You're breaking curses on your family.
Oh yeah,
That's what you do.
Yeah.
it can be done.
Oh yeah, it definitely can be.
It's never easy. And that's the one thing
yeah.
that you have to remember about breaking curses, generational traumas. It's not going to be easy.
And that's what I
that
think
honor.
people don't talk about. People don't talk about how hard it is. So everybody wants to talk about it because it's almost like a fad, talking about breaking generational curses. but they don't want to do the work that goes into what it takes to break those curses. The exclusion that you feel, the pain that arises, the emotional turmoil that you go through. Nobody wants to talk about that. It's fun to talk about, oh yeah, I'm breaking generational curses, but are you really? Are you putting yourself through that? Are you feeling what you need to feel in order to break those curses?
Right.
So I feel like it's kind of a fad now, people talking about it on the internet and putting it out there, but I think it's more talk than action. I think that's what we need more of. People that are taking action, that are ready to actually do the work, do the hard work, because it's, like you said, Larvell, it's not easy. It's not, but I do have to mention that you're fit today, Larvell. I'm feeling you're fit. It looks good.
Well, thank you.
You're looking good. So are you giving us all a sign with a pineapple?
Man, this is one of the things I wore on my cruise.
He's wearing pineapple hat and pineapple shirt.
Yes. So look, I was on my cruise and I was in the elevator, and it was an old couple in the elevator. I got on, and the next thing you know, the old lady started talking about, "Oh, I love me some pineapples," and I looked. And then the husband joined in. He's like, "Yeah, I like pineapples too." And then she started asking me, "You like pineapples?" And I know what they was talking about, but I was trying to act so dumb. Like, yeah, I mean, no, not really, but yeah, I like pineapples. I mean, I tried to say that I'm wearing it because of the theme, that what it was supposed to be like the Hawaiian theme,
Right.
And this was supposed to have been like my Hawaiian theme, but yeah, oh yeah. So no, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah, you gotta be careful around certain people.
Yeah, I found out quickly about that upside down pineapple.
Larvell is trying to tell us all something. He's letting us know.
Oh man,
He's letting us know without letting us know.
Right.
letting us know without letting us know. Oh, I found out quick in that elevator. I couldn't wait to get off that elevator. Like, get me out of here.
Now, had it been a different couple,
You know, then if it been a different, it probably would have went a different way. I plead the fifth when the turns might incriminate me.
All right. So, is there any last words? Anybody want to say anything?
Lloyd, I want to hear what you have to say about breaking generational curses. Like, how has it felt with you, and have you done it intentionally? Have you seen the patterns and, like, I'm going to break this?
I did do it intentionally.
You did?
I did. Because I felt, well, my older brother had went down that road, and I've seen that, you know, through him. And so basically I was like, yeah, no, I'm not following all that. I don't know, because I don't feel like that's right for me. And so I was like, well, you know what? Yeah, I'll stop. I'm going to stop with me, you know. So within my family, my kids, I was like, well, we're going to stop at number 3. And that's that, you know. So I was good, you know. But other than that, yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, I couldn't continue on doing that.
Yeah,
What
no, I was
about-
2 and through. 2 and through.
Yeah.
What about the things that come along with breaking those generational curses, the heartache, the cutting people off, the pain that you feel? How was it going through that for you?
It was hard. It was hard because, you know, even the whole thing about cutting people off, that was definitely hard. You know? So, but I knew it was necessary. You know, and that I did do. You know,
Hard but worth it?
yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. You know, because it's that one saying, you know, everyone can go with you. You know, so, and I took that, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. I mean, because everyone is not really on your side. You know, so you trying to grow, you trying to build, and some of these people are not on that level. You know, so which I found that out a long time ago. You know, because I'm like, if I wouldn't even be here if I was stuck to all that. You know, so, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, I gotta keep it moving.
Right.
So, But yeah, doing the generational curses, it's more. I feel like it needs to end. I mean, now, granted, I'm gonna flip it. Some people might say generational curses on their end of it might be a good thing, depending on what that curse is.
Right.
For us, it might be a curse. For them, it might be just a tradition. You know? So, depending on how they see it.
Right. That's good. Good point.
You know? So, but on my end of it, I pretty much feel like, whatever bad curse it is, you should want to stop it at that point. If your people before you didn't do it, it's up to you to get it done. And break that cycle and move on to a better way, so, because living life is hard enough, but then you have to add all these other things on it too.
Right.
You're making yourself overwhelmed. So it's like now it's like to the point, okay, we're gonna stop right here. We're gonna move things a little better than what we did before. So let's keep it going, so that now you can teach your kids the better way. Now they teach their kids the better way and teach their kids, because they see now the kids that's in this world now.
This is the internet age.
I'm just praying for them.
I call it the internet age.
Yeah,
That's what it
Yeah.
is.
It is.
Yeah, because
Everything came too easy for them.
Too easy.
Too quickly and too easy. And
You know?
it goes back to like you're saying, working for it. It's like they expect these days instead of working for it, which makes it a little bit harder for this generation because everything came so easy. Microwave, internet, it's like so quickly. It's just right there, tangible, instead of working for it.
Right.
So.
We'd be like, work? Huh?
Yeah.
What is work? What?
But that also, I think, is making our kids more creative too. Because now they're doing things differently because
what?
they
Yes.
have the internet.
Yes, they are. Because they make money differently now.
They make money differently. There's jobs out there that we never thought would be possible.
That's
They're
very
creating jobs.
They're creating jobs.
Yeah.
And it's giving them the flexibility and the vision to be able to do things that we never would have even thought of. So, yes, the internet's interesting. It's a love-hate relationship.
Definitely love-hate relationship.
Love-hate relationship.
All right. Anything else?
Well, before we get out of here, just a moment to highlight the sponsors. Make sure y'all check out Unknown Union.
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
www.unknownunion.com.
That's right.
Yes.
Unknown Union is a fashion house that bridges the world of art, culture, and history by storytelling. So make sure you check them out.
Yes.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. All right. Anything else, Christy? Last words?
That's
Shoes off. Make
it.
sure you got
shoes
your
off. Yeah, make sure you got your shoes off when we're talking, guys.
Oh, yeah. I had my shoes off
Got your
all
shoes
day. Yeah.
Shoes off for a reason.
Yep. All right, so we're going to get out of here and then thank everyone for coming in and enjoying this time with us. All right, so as we end all shows, love, peace, and soul.
Soul Train.
Take your shoes off at the door, yeah, we getting real. Talking all